Hi girls, in this video I'm going to go through how to use chords outside the key signature. So this is an idea that you can use for your compositions when you're writing them. And we're going to be looking at Comedy Tonight, which is from a musical called A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum by Stephen Sondheim. So first of all, we're going to have a listen to the music, and I'm going to move the camera along so you can sort of follow along. But if you do have your red books, it's page 309. I'll just show you what that book looks like. So the textbook you can follow the score along with is In Tune with Music, book 3, and we're on page 309. So as you can see, we're in G major, and I know that because we've got an F sharp key signature. Every good boy deserves fruits, top line. See the sharps on the F line. And our first chord is a G chord. And our last chord is a G chord, so it's a huge hint that we're in G major. So I'm just waiting for my YouTube video to come. And we're in cut common time, which is the same as 2-2. So that means there's 2 minim beats in a bar, the equivalent. So I can fit 2 of them in a bar, but I can also fit rhythms that add up to that amount in the bar. It really adds up to the same as 4-4, because in 4-4 I have 4 crotchets. So we're just listening to the intro first. Here we go.
Something for everyone, a comedy tonight. Something appealing, something appalling. Something for everyone, a comedy tonight. Nothing for kings, nothing for crowns. Bring on the lovers, liars, and clowns. Whole situation, new complications. Nothing portentous or polite. Tragedy tomorrow, comedy tonight.
And then there's a little interlude. See that repeat sign? That means go back to the beginning. So I'm going back here.
Something for everyone, a comedy tonight. Something aesthetic, something frenetic. Something for everyone, a comedy tonight.
I'm just trying to show you the rhythms.
Just have to wait. Our principal characters live.
So you can hear the brass still playing this tune in the background. And we go to the second time ending when we get to the very end, but I'm pretty sure there's another verse that's going to come in. So we're going to stop there, but just see how that's the first time ending. When you come along the second time, you go to there, you skip the first time ending, and you go straight to the second time ending. And that double bar line means the music's finished. Because this is a score reduction, it doesn't have all of it in there, but that's basically how you read that music. Okay, so what I'm going to tell you now is a little side note, but I just want you to take note of the rhythms that are used in this song, because remember that it's a song and you're going to have somebody sing it. So you can't have ridiculously tricky rhythms that you could probably give to an instrumentalist to play, because the person singing it has to fit the words in. So we're just going to have a very quick look at the rhythm, and then we're going to go on with the chords. So I'm just going to turn the camera around. Okay, so if we have a quick browse over the rhythms, you'll see that they're pretty simple. We've got crotchets or tars, we've got minims or twos or tars, whatever you like to call them. We have some TTs or some quavers. We have this tam-T rhythm, which is a dotted crotchet and then a quaver. So it's one of these, but it's on its own. And we have a crotchet rest here, but basically, oh, and a semi-breve 4-count note. But basically, if I scan through, that's pretty much all the rhythms. We have a 3-count note here, so that's a dotted minim, lasts for 3 beats, tied to a minim, which is 2 beats, so that makes 5 beats there. But basically, we don't have anything super tricky in there. But what we do have, which Stephen Sondheim uses really well, is he uses this ta-to, ta-to, tu. So it's a ta-tu, ta-tu, tu, or crotchet, minim, crotchet, minim, minim. So it's used throughout. See the pattern here, do 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 do, etc. So it's a bit of a, if you like, repeated rhythm throughout the piece, and it gives it a little bit of character, and it's something that's used quite often. So it's a bit of a rhythmic feature in this song, and it creates a little bit of syncopation. And then it repeats. So see, that adds a little bit of something in it. And even when it changes, it's still the same rhythm. Ta, tu, ta. See the same rhythm? So what I think he does really beautifully is he uses it as a feature, but he doesn't make it too complicated. So he's picked one cool thing and he does it quite often, rather than adding in 10 cool things and then it would be hard to remember. So that's just a little tip for rhythms, and now we're going to go on to chords. Okay, chords. So this piece of music is in G major. I apologise if I'm moving the camera too much. I really hope you're not seasick. Because it's got an F sharp in the key signature, and it starts and ends on a G chord. So our notes in G major, so if you should see my keyboard, here's our G. So if my Do is G, which it is because I'm in G major, it goes G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. So there's our notes in G major. Or Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. There's our G major notes, and I've written them out for you here. So you can see if my Do is G, my Re is A, my Mi is B, my Fa is C, my So is D, La is E, Ti is F sharp, and Do is G. And you can see more about the intervals in another video on major scales, but I'm not going to go into that now because it's sort of repeating a lot of what we've done before. So just recapping, if I'm in Do equals G, otherwise known as G major, that means chord 1 is made up of the notes Do, Mi, So. See how we're just skipping notes and that makes up a chord? If I play notes right next to each other on the piano, doesn't sound so nice. If I play notes that are skipped apart from each other, see how nice that sounds? So that's my Do, Mi, So, my G major chord. So in the key of G major, chord 1 is G major, called G major. It's made up of Do, Mi, So, Mi, Do. That's chord 1. We call that G major. Or you can call it G. So if you see it on a piece of music, it might just be written as G, or sometimes it's written as G maj. Any of them mean the same thing. It means you're playing the notes G, B, D. Whether you strum it on a guitar, play it on a piano, whatever you do, it's still G major. So if I'm in the key of G major, chord 1 is G major. Chord 2 is the next note of the scale, which is based on the note A, because that's the Re in the scale. It's made up of Re, Fa, La. So A, C, E, that's A minor, otherwise known as AM or A min. Chord 3 is Mi, So, Ti. So B, oh, and I haven't written that one in, have I? B, D, F sharp. See, that's B, D, F sharp, and that's B minor. Sounds like that. Minor chords sound quite sad, major chords sound quite happy. Next one, chord 4, C, E, G, or Fa, La, Do, C major. Next chord, D, F sharp, A, or So, Ti, Re, D major. Next one, chord 6 is E, G, B, G, E, or La, Do, Mi, Do, La. That's E minor. And chord 7 is a tricky one. It's F sharp, A, C. And it sounds different because it's made up of a minor third and a minor third. I'll show you on the piano. F sharp, A. That's a minor third because 1, 2, 3 semitones. That's a minor third. Then A to C. 1, 2, 3, 3 semitones again. So it's made up of a minor third between them. And then this one. So 2 minor thirds, and that makes a special chord called a diminished chord, which I think sounds kind of angry. So there are normal chords in G major. So they're the ones we should be seeing normally. Now we're going to look at the music and see what Stephen Sondheim has used. Okay, so in our look at the chords, I'm going to play you a bit of it and then we're going to stop at here to see if we hear any chords that shouldn't be in G major, well, wouldn't normally be in G major. So we've got familiar, something peculiar, something for everyone, company tonight. Okay, so if we stop there, we've got a G major chord. G major is obviously part of G major, so that's fine. C major, that would be chord number 4 in G major, so that one's part of the key signature. We've got D, that's normally chord 5, C, D major or D maj, so that's D major, so that's fine. We've got G major again, C, D, G major, all chords that are part of the key signature, nothing new here. C major, and then we've got F. So that F signifies F major, except normally we have an F sharp. So if we have a look over here, can you see F major in there? I can't. So this is an altered chord or something a little bit different. So basically, instead of having our normal F sharp diminished chord, instead Stephen Sondheim's chosen to use F major, which is normally F, A, C. Oh, I can't draw and hold the camera, sorry. So that's something different. So to make it F major, he's gone down one note from F sharp. So if I show you on the piano, I've got, that's F sharp. He's gone to F major instead, so he's used F, A, C. So in a sense, he's taken the 7th note of G major. So we've got G is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oops, 7. Excuse me. F sharp, and he's made it one note lower. So we call that a flat 7, because when you make something flat, you make it lower by 1. So now this F major chord is called flat major 7. And we write it in capital Roman numerals because it's a major chord. It's no longer diminished, it's major. So there's our first chord outside the key signature. And I think it sounds quite effective. If I play you from the beginning, it's... Does that sound different to your ears? I think it sounds quite effective. The other thing he's used is he's used a D7 chord. So normally we just have a D chord, but he's added in the 7th from D. So normally D major is D, F sharp, A. What he's done is he's added in the 7th note above D. So if we count, starting on the D, always count the D as 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That means you add that 7th note, that's C, to the chord. You can voice it differently, so you can put the C down there. That sounds a bit, I don't know, I think it sounds a bit better. But essentially it means that you're adding in the 7th note above the note of the chord into the chord. So it's kind of got, I don't know, a cool jazzy sound to it. All right. Okay, so that was the first section. If we look further on in the piece, we'll see that a lot of it repeats. So we've got something appealing, something appalling, something for everyone, a comedy tonight. Same as before. Nothing. Now a different section. Bring on the lovers, liars and clowns. We'll just stop there for now. Okay, so if we look at Nothing with Kings, we've got G, part of the key signature. So we've got C and then D. And then we've got B major, because see, it's just a B, that signifies B major. It would have a little M next to it if it was B minus. It's B major. So let's hear that. So we'll go from Nothing with Kings. Nothing with Kings, nothing. Does that sound different to your ear? It should, because normally we would have B minor. See? So that would be B, D, F sharp. But instead, Stephen Sondheim has chosen to use B major. And B major, being a major chord, has a major third above B. So if we go 4 semitones up, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's D sharp, not a D natural. So B major, Excuse my dodgy writing. It's very hard to write on this angle and hold the camera still. So this is now B major. So normally it would be B minor, chord minor 3. So we will call that we'll call that major 3. It's not a flat major 3 because we're still using the B bass note, but it's now no longer a minor chord, it's a major chord. So that's our next altered chord in this song. Okay, so if we continue to look at that same section, we just talked about the Nothing with Kings. Nothing with kings, nothing with crowns. And then C, we're using an F major chord again. Bring on the flowers, my eyes, and using the B major chord again. And then A minor 7. So like we said before, A minor, adding a 7th basically means you're taking the A, playing an A minor chord, and also adding the 7th note above A. So if we look at the piano, there's our A minor chord, A, C, E, C, A. So let's count 7 above A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Always remember to count the first note as number 1. There's our A minor 7 chord, which can be voiced differently. You can put the G down there. That sounds pretty cool. I like that chord. But basically it just means it's got that G in it above A. Okay. Alright, so if we continue to look, we're still using the same chords as before. So just like in the rhythm, see how he uses a couple of cool things, but he reuses them? Sometimes less is more. So if you try and put in 15 cool things into one song, it sounds like a mess. If you put in, say, 3 cool things and do them a few times, it can sound much, much more effective. So think about that when you're composing. Okay, so we keep going. Situations, same chords as before. New complications, nothing but pretentious and awkward. Now we've got an E flat. Is there an E flat in G major normally? Let's check. No, there is no E flat normally. So we've taken the La and we've flattened it by 1. So now it's an E flat. So that's a note outside the key signature. And see how effective it is? Because it's a really big note and it's one of those dramatic points in musical theatre, it stands out because it's outside of the key signature. So we've got nothing pretentious and polite. See how that stands out to your ear? That's another cool thing you could try in your composition. If you want to go for a big note, try just changing something outside of the key signature. He's also changed the chord because normally we don't have B flat minor in the key signature. We normally have B minor, not B flat minor. So what would we call that chord? B flat minor. If we work it out using the piano, you should all be able to do this. B flat. So to make a minor chord, you need a minor 3rd above B flat. So let's count it. So that's 3 semitones. 1, B flat to B, that's 1 semitone. B to C, 2 semitones. C to D flat, that's now 3 semitones, a minor 3rd. See? Should sound like a minor 3rd. So B flat to D flat. And then we need a major 3rd above D flat to make the rest of our chord, because we know that a minor chord is made up of a minor 3rd and then a major 3rd, 4 semitones above. So B flat, D flat, F is B flat minor, something a bit different. So that would be a flat 3, and we're going to use small Roman numerals because it is a minor chord, not a major chord. See, when we changed it to B major, we used capital Roman numerals because it was a major chord. Because this is minor, you have to use lower Roman numerals. And the reason I have to put a flat sign in front of it is because we've taken the B down 1 note to B flat. So we've flattened it. So that's why it gets a flat sign. And if we look at that big, crazy, huge note that the singer's going to sing, it's actually a 7th as well. So if you remember how to work out a 7th chord, basically you get the B flat and you count 7 notes, and then there's your 7th note, which you're going to add into the chord. So we're going to count that. Let's go B flat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's an A, so we're going to add in an A. So B flat minor 7 has an A in it as well. Again, you can make it a high A, a low A. You can voice those notes in whatever combination you like, but a B flat minor 7th chord has those notes in it. So we're going to also add the little 7 above that. So it's a flat minor 7. Yep, 3 minor 7. Okay, so that's something that can add effect. And then if we continue to go on, so see we've got A minor 7, A minor 7, A minor 7. If there's no new chord, you just keep playing the old one. D7 and then G. So D7 is chord 5, G is chord 1. So that's what we call a perfect cadence because you have chord 5 to chord 1. So that's a really nice way of ending a song, especially if you're writing a cute little song like Comedy Tonight. Chord 5 to chord 1 will make your song sound finished. So I highly recommend using chord 5, then chord 1 when you're ending your song. And then the second time ending, same thing. Chord 5, 7 even sounds even better than 5, 1. 5, 7, chord 1, and then he's got A minor, because he's stretching it out for a long outro, he's got A minor, back to chord 5, so chord 2, chord 5, chord 1. Also really, really fantastic combination for finishing a song. Chord 2, chord 5, chord 1. That progression works brilliantly. Okay, so that was Comedy Tonight and some cool little ideas which you might think about including in your composition. Remember that you need to fill in the worksheet that goes with it and hand it back to me. And if there's anything that you didn't understand, you need to come and ask me or write the questions on your sheet and I will happily help you out. Okay, bye-bye.